who wants can talk to me, send me a message and talk to me, no charges, nothing. But I will not represent you in the court. I will give you guidance what you can do, but I will not represent you in the court. But today's topic is nothing about Australian law, this is about Indian law. I'll tell you why the topic. The topic because I went to India and I was talking, I had a talk with the Supreme Court advocate, senior Supreme Court advocate. I had a talk with top vice presidents of banks, ICICI, HDFC, Axis Bank. Now the problem which they did not consider a problem was that 4 or 5 years back, the government found that there were 45,000 crore worth of property and assets lying unclaimed. Now you have to understand what is the meaning of unclaimed. Unclaimed doesn't mean that there is no person wanting that property. Unclaimed means that though no person has the proper documentation to prove that they are the rightful owners of that property. You understand me? You have spent your whole life earning money, creating properties. Now these you will like that should go to your beneficiaries, of your sons, daughters, daughter-in-law, grandchildren, and they should have this property without any problems. If they have to go to India, this is primarily today's talk is oriented to NRIs and OCIs. I believe most of you or your children are either NRI or OCI. So the thing is, you will like that your children or whoever you want to give the property to should be able to get this without any hassles. जैसे ब्रिजेश जी ने कहा, if you have to go to India and spend months and months and trying to get the property, many a time people will say, forget about it, nahi chahiye, chhod do. So this is how 45,000 crore worth of property has lying unclaimed. Unclaimed, as I explained to you, means proper documentation is not there. So what did the government do? When the government found that this is the problem, what does the government do where there is a problem? They form a committee. And the committee gives a report. The committee gave a report, there is no problem. What you do is that you ask all the banks and financial institutions and everywhere that they must give the name of their nominee. Every person who opens a bank account, I think all of you must have found that whenever you open a fixed deposit, whenever you buy shares, mutual funds, they insist that if you don't give a name of a nominee, the last date was last year, October 2023, then no transaction in that particular asset will be allowed. Are you aware of that? If you are not aware, then I think you should be aware. If you don't give the name of a nominee, the bank will not allow you to transact. Many of you, if you wanted to open a locker in the bank says, manager says, sab locker to nahi hai, koi khali nahi hai. But if you go inside the locker room, you will find a lot of lockers are there, jin pe there is a seal put on it. So then you say, oh, all these lockers, what are they? These are lockers of those people who have not come and claimed anything. Those people may have died and they have not given the proper nominee. So these lockers are lying unclaimed. So this is the huge problem which is there. So what the committee said, that every nominee, every person who has the asset holder is one who has the asset, beneficiary or nominee is the person who is going to get the asset. So every person who is an asset holder must give 4 things. 4 things क्या है नॉमिनी का? नाम होना चाहिए, नेम ऑफ द नॉमिनी, एज ऑफ द नॉमिनी, एज ऑन द डेट when the fixed deposit asset is being nominated. So naturally the bank will know after 10 years or 15 years, 20 years how old he should be. Third is address. Fourth is, because there can be 2 people, 3 people with the same name, age and address. But fourth is relationship to you. Now these 4 things are most critical to be able to claim that this money belongs to me as a beneficiary. Now, if you are in India, you can go to any bank, anywhere, all banks are connected by Wi-Fi, etc. You can produce your Aadhaar card, you can produce your voter card, you can produce your driving license, you can produce your residency certificate and all sorts of things and prove that you have the name, you can prove your birth certificate, everything and prove what is your name, what is your age, what is your address, and what is your relationship with the asset holder who has nominated you. Understood? Very clear? No problem if a person is in India. So, 2-3 बार उठेगा के. Now, another benefit is the bank has said and the government has said that if you have got all these documents, you just photocopy them and sign them. Self-attest. खुद साइन कर दीजिए, सिग्नेचर कर दीजिए, डेट डाल दीजिए. No, nothing is required. Just go to the bank, give the copy, show the original, and it will be accepted. Clear? Now think of a NRI and a OCI. I'll first explain to you what is the difference between a NRI and OCI. NRI is a person who is living abroad, working abroad, whatever it is, but he holds a Indian passport. OCI is a person who lives abroad, works abroad, but he is a foreign citizen. He might claim an OCI card, which is his right. Okay, this is the difference. Now, how does a NRI, suppose you have been given 10 lakhs by your father, and now the bank has informed you, or not the bank, the executor of the will. Executor of the will has informed you that Praveen Gupta, your father has left you 10 lakhs. They are lying in a bank in India. Please go and claim the money. Now, I am working here. Do I have to go to India and give self-attested papers, give all the original documents, show that? I said, I don't want to do that. So then what is the thing? The bank will not accept my self-attested copies sent from here because I am not showing the originals. This is for the NRI. So I talked to the vice president of the bank. What is the alternative? They said, कोई problem नहीं है. They should give documented, duly notarized. Now please understand what is a notarized. Notarized means you go to a notary who is authorized by the government of Australia to notarize the documents, or he is a lawyer. So there are certain people who can notarize the documents. They don't work free. You will have to go on a particular day, take leave from office, spend about $200 per document. $200 per document and get the document notarized. Will that be acceptable to the bank? No, because the bank will say, this is an Australian notary. I don't have that. How do I know this is a genuine notary or a fake notary? So what you will have to do, you will have to go to the DFAT office. There is an office at Central Railway Station, near Central Railway Station, Department of Foreign Trade. You go there and they have got the list of all the notaries. They will check the document, charge you apostille fees and stamp it. That is called apostille. So you first go to notary, go to DFAT, get it apostilled. Then you say, the bank will say कि ये apostille हो क्या आ गया, notary हो क्या, apostille हो क्या. कहते we don't know the पूरे दुनिया में 190 शहर हैं, 190 देश हैं, सबके apostille के पास हमारे पास रिकॉर्ड नहीं है. तो क्या करना पड़ेगा आपको? You will have to go to the consulate. With that document, notarized, apostille, you go to the consulate, and the consulate will confirm, yes, this is a apostille of the de facto government of Australia. So, consulate will stamp it. Once the consulate stamps it, then this document will be accepted by the bank. Now, all these things will take you cost and time. Now, if you send these documents to India, then the bank will agree to you, and you have to have a NRO account, non-resident overseas account, not NRE, non-resident external account name, NRO, non-resident overseas account you got to have, in which rupee transactions are allowed. So that you give the NRO account number, and the bank will put the money in the NRO account, and you can have it. Now the problem is that all this I have told you, people learn by experience. They don't know all this. So what they do is, they keep on sending the documents to the bank, and the bank keeps on returning the document, that this document is not okay, we don't accept this notary, we don't accept this apostille. So what happens is, after the frustration, half the claims are not made if the amount is not sufficiently large. 1 करोड़ होगा तो भैया मैं टाइम खर्चा करूंगा, 3-4 लाख के लिए मैं 3-3, 4-4 बार अपने ऑफिस से छुट्टी लूं, I take leave, I will not do it. So this is what happens with the NRI. हालांकि your documents of Aadhaar card, your documents of driving license India का, your documents of voter card, your passport, all these are acceptable documents to get your claim. Now, a person with a OCI who doesn't have an Indian passport, he also has got to go through the whole process. Only thing is, his documents are not Indian. So he has to have this passport, same process, driving license, same process, but he has got another problem. What problem he has got? In the Indian passport, Indian OCI, the name of your father and mother is mentioned. So you can show your relationship. Your wife's name is mentioned. You can show your relationship. In a foreign passport, none of these are mentioned. In the passport also, address is not mentioned. That means your driving license will be required for address proof. So this is the third thing is, how will you prove the relationship with suppose your aunt is there who has given the money to you, or your sister-in-law is there, or brother-in-law is there. So many things can be there. So इसीलिए प्रॉब्लम बहुत बड़ी है ये कि रिलेशनशिप प्रूव करना, और जब तक रिलेशनशिप प्रूव नहीं करेंगे आप, all those 4 requirements, the bank will not give you the money. That means in the list of bank, the amount is unclaimed because there is no valid claimant. Now, when all this problem, can I continue just 5 minutes more?
Okay, fine.
Now, all these problems, जब आप समझ गए कि because of these problems, your claim may not be acceptable. Now, I am only talking about liquid funds, जो बैंक में हैं, जो आपकी सिक्योरिटीज हैं, शेयर सर्टिफिकेट हैं, म्यूचुअल फंड्स हैं. अब आप सोचिए, अगर आपकी प्रॉपर्टी है, लैंड है, दुकान है, घर है, उसकी तो और भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. वो आप जब बेचने जाएंगे तो आप क्या आसानी से बेच सकते हैं उसको? क्योंकि सब एजेंट को ही मालूम है कि आप फॉरेन में रहते हैं. जहां फॉरेन में रहते हैं वो 3-4 महीने तो वैसे ही लग चले जाएंगे, नॉर्मल में चले जाते हैं जो इंडिया में रहते हैं उनके लिए. तो आपको तो कहेंगे, आपको जब कहेंगे कि भैया ये तो फॉरेन में रहता है तो डिस्ट्रेस सेलर है, यू नो, यू आर ए डिस्ट्रेस सेलर, so you will have get only 10-20% lower than the market price. And also all the problems associated. At each point, you will have to prove your identity, and you will have to have all those documents I have talked before. Otherwise, n number of places where the registration is done, transaction is done, they will not accept your documents. So, I am not talking about fixed assets. I am just talking about the liquid assets. Once you understand the liquid assets, you will be able to understand the fixed assets. कि अगर ये liquid assets के लिए करने का है, then fixed assets के लिए तो करना ही पड़ेगा. So then I talked to the Supreme Court advocate and these bank vice presidents. Based on the knowledge I learned from law, I told them, suppose I have a solution. Is that solution acceptable? Say, what is the solution? I say, don't put the name of the nominee as the person. Put the name of a nominee as a trust. Now, trust is a complicated affair. Trust आप लोगों के समझ में आ नहीं सकता. Law में भी 50% people only pass who take the subject of trust. So trust is a complicated thing. लेकिन आप कार ड्राइव करते हैं, आपको कार के अंदर मालूम है कैसे चलती है कार, कैसे इंजन चलता है, क्या बनता है, आपको वो नहीं मालूम. You do not know. You drive the car. Similarly, trust, you don't have to know what is a trust, how does it operate. You only have to have an advocate who will make a trust and tell you who is the person who has given the assets, किसके assets हैं, whose assets they are, and who are the beneficiaries of your trust. Now, once you understand this concept, trust का advantage है, trust is a legal person. Just like me and you, although trust doesn't have a body, physical body, but trust is a legal person. Trust is a legal person means it is registered, it has got a name, it has got a date of age, which day the registration was done, it has got an age, it has got an address, the address of the trust, and it has got a relationship. The trust mentions who are the asset holder, who are the beneficiaries, so it qualifies on all those 4 criteria of the bank and the RBI. Now, once you have got a trust form, then wherever you, and the trust also has a bank account, because it is a legal person, it opens a bank account. So what happens is, all places where you have to write the name of the nominee, don't write the name of the nominee, write the name of the trust. So what happens is, in the event of the death of the person who had the assets, the bank is only informed by the advocate that so-and-so person has died, and as per the trust deed, this is the trust papers, and this is the bank account of the trust, please transfer all the assets to this bank account of the trust. Bank has no problem. It qualifies on all 4 criteria. So all the funds are transferred. How much time does it take? Even if the legal department of the bank has to see the documents, it will take 10 days, 12 days, 2 weeks maximum. In 2 weeks, all the money from the various assets comes to the trust account. Now, if it comes to the trust account, after that the banks, etc., all these have nothing to do. Then the executor of the trust, the beneficiaries are there, they have to have NRI account, to hona hi padega unko. So they are having the NRI account, and the executor of the trust transfers all the money that has come to the trust as per the will. The will have a probate. Probate means the court has given an order that these are the beneficiaries as per the will, and they should be given the share as specified in the will. So the executor of the trust transfers the money from the trust account to all these NRI accounts. How much time does it take? 3 days. That NRO person who is sitting in Sydney, Melbourne, Darwin, New York, London, when does he get the money? 48 hours. In 4 weeks, all the money after the death of the asset holder is received by the beneficiaries without any hassle. Now, if it is so simple, why nobody else in India, no other lawyer has worked on it? Because that is not their bread and butter. The bread and butter is the domestic people. So when I discussed this solution with the Supreme Court advocate, and after that we had number of meetings, even now I regularly are contacting with him, and we are exchanging how this concept is being accepted by, understood by the, not accepted, understood by the people here. I've already talked to 5 other groups and all of them are happy that such a simple system, इससे हमें पैसा हमारे बेनिफिशियरीज को बिना किसी प्रॉब्लम के मिल जाएगा. So then I talked to the vice presidents of the bank. Do you have any problem if I do all these trusts? They said, no. Trust is a legal person. You give the name of the trust as the nominee. Trust has account. We transfer the money to the trust. So what I'm saying is, all this requires knowledge of law. It's not easy. You can't do it yourself. It requires the knowledge of law. You will have to go to a advocate who is knowledgeable, not here in India, and then create a will. You've got to create 2 things. One is the will, which is the fundamental basis on which the assets will be distributed. Second is you have to create a trust so that all the money from all assets will go to the trust account so that it can be transferred by the executor. Now, I understand this is a heavy subject. Trust is a difficult concept, but don't think of the trust, think of a car. I can drive a car, so I can make a trust. So I hope after this, it will not be so easy, because when I talked to the Supreme Court advocate and I told him the solution, initially he said, Praveen, what you're talking is no, I'll make a will for you. I said, no, I want this thing. So he said, let me do a research. After doing research, he came back to me, he said, Praveen, your solution is the right solution. And then I talked to the vice president of the bank. They all said your solution is the right solution. We have no issue. So what I suggest is, if you have understood this, इतना ही समझ में आ गया है, उतना काफी है. You don't have to understand anything more. You can talk to your lawyer. Normally, lawyers who do not know about trust will not be able to advise you, but talk to a lawyer who knows about trust, a senior lawyer, advocate, etc. Then they will be able to do this job for you. Yeah, please.
If the person has made a will and he is dead and he hasn't made any trust, then what procedure the family should take?
You see, the thing is, will can be changed, will can be modified. Will is not a document made at one time. If you create a trust, you will have to modify the will.
No, you didn't understand my question. If I make a will, supposing tomorrow I die and I don't create a trust, so what will happen?
If you make a will but don't create a trust, then the problem I have explained before, you might have come later on, those problems will happen. I have explained already the problem before. You can talk to me personally afterwards. That problem will occur if you don't create a trust. That's the reason I said that trust is the solution. Before I gave it the solution, I told you the problems. So the problems will occur.
The trust will have the trustee too.
Trust will have a trustee, right?
Who will be trustees?
Trustee is your person. Like when you have got a will, you have to have an executor. The person whom you have faith. You can't make anybody an executor. So when you make a will, you have to have an executor. After you, who will be the person who will distribute your assets in the way you want it. So same thing, a trustee will be there. But I will suggest always have 2 trustees. One of the trustees can be the advocate and one of the trustees can be your faith person, because advocate will know how to operate the trust.
Will made in Australia, is it accepted in India?
बेटे पानी जल्दी से बोलिए.
If a will is made in Australia, is it accepted in India?
Will made anywhere in the world is accepted, anywhere in the world.
I'll accept will too. I'll accept. एक बात सुनिए. If you make a trust, how much money will cost you?
Okay. How much money it will cost to make a trust? If you do not make a trust, how much money it will cost you? If you do not make a trust, how much money it will cost your beneficiaries? Don't know. I told you, distress seller, 30-20% lower. So, For making a trust is about 1 to 2% of the value of the property. Just like when you go to a real estate agent, he charges you about 1 to 2% of the value of the property for selling the property. Making a trust by advocate will cost you about 1 to 2% value of the property.
And that, as I say, I made a trust a long time ago. It cost me $4,000 here. $4,000 here
At that time.
at that time. I'm not sure how much now. I can find out for you next week.
But this trust doesn't have to be made in Australia. This trust will have to be made in India.
No, maybe.
No, I'm saying the trust I'm talking about
Or maybe.
will have to be made in India, not here. No, because this is about Indian laws. This is not about Australian laws. This is not about Australian property. I said in the beginning, this is about assets held in India. So the will can be made here, but the trust will have to be made there. Okay?
One more.
Yeah.
One more question.
Actually, thank you, Parveenji. I know I sold the property 8 years back in India and how hassle it is. I'm going to sell another one, and what he said is very relevant. And it becomes complicated because your children don't want to go, and your sometimes assets are in both the names. So even for power of attorney, you have to do the same procedure. You have to go to your notary. I will get you the name of couple of notaries. I'm going to use myself. Then you have to go where you said in
Defect.
Yes.
Apostille.
Apostles, you have to get the stamp where they put it, that stamp thing. Then you have to go to the Indian consulate, because when I was selling the property, they will, what he said is very, very true. And then you have to get it attested from Indian consulate. No, I'm not very sure what are the latest rules are, but if you have any assets in India, you should get it will in India. And then if you're going to sell anything, which I know in my case, my son says, I don't have time. Mom, whatever it is not worth if I go for a week, and I don't have month to stay. If I go, it will be 2 or 3 days. But this procedure has to be done. I'm going to meet the Indian new consul general. We will try, they said, I was talking to the deputy consul. We will get them to come and talk to you in one of the meetings. Definitely. What we look is what's the need, and Parveen is there too. Very thank you to Parveen Gupta. He's got legal knowledge, and his name is there in our WhatsApp group. Please don't bother unnecessarily, but if you need advice, and we've got Gulabji. Gulabji also is the advocate. He is helping a lot of people with their family issues as well. They cannot even if represent you in court, but they can give you advice. So Gulabji, आइए आप भी बता दीजिए. He is also a lawyer as well. We are very lucky to have. In case you still need, we've got 2 other lawyers for Asha. For Asha, we've got Mithu Gopalan and Amit Pal of Kailash Lawyers. They support our organization. We have to have a lawyer for us to cover our management team for any issues, and legally also. But these are our members who can support you. We will try to get you information because this information is important. We'll get somebody to come from consulate to come and talk to you, what services, how they can do that. But these documents are important. I don't know about the trust in India. We can find out, is there, what he's saying is right. So please, if you need, these are the important issues. The other thing which we will try to get is to get the Indian consulate to come and give the life certificate. I think it's in October it happens, so that they can come to Wentworthville on a Saturday or in Blacktown on Wednesday, so that people don't have to go all the way to the consulate. So these are the few services are very important apart from doing yoga, meeting and music. These are the information. So we're going to have tea. Please have a chat casually to Parveen and to Gulabji also. Both are the lawyers. They've got the law information. Let's give them a big clap. And after that we will have music, and we've got full program. We got music, a lady is coming. Nandini, Dr. Sundar knows she's a dancer. She'll come at 2 o'clock, do some exercise and dance for you. She's got a lot of dance schools, very well-known dancer, and music also. So let's have a cup of tea. We can have 1 or 2 questions. Is there anybody who's got a question which is relevant? Otherwise, informally, you can talk to them.
Sorry, my friend was talking about public notaries. and it's very expensive business. They charge about $100 per page to $150 per page. There is a law center in Tugabi. It's majority administered by the Indian origin people. They only charge $100 per case. So if you go to, say, for example, get POI or NRE document for your children, there will be 4, 5, or 6 documents you need to get attested by public notary. That could go up to $8, 9, maybe $1,000. But if you go to legal center, Tungabi legal center, only they charge $100 per case. That means $5, $6 you can earn in $100. Yeah, we will. Anybody who wants the number, I can give you.
That's a very
Tungabi legal
very
center.
helpful.
It's better to give the number now,
Yeah,
because recording is
I
going on.
I haven't got, but I will let you know later on.
I searched for the person to get a notary done, and the cheapest notary I could find was somebody's in Parameter, $150 a page. But if, that is the very, very economical, otherwise notaries are very costly.
I can suggest suddenly cash for money in rental $100. Say notary, say send any document, all documents together.
Check, one cheap.
And $100.
We'll share those numbers.
Check.
And also, Dr. Benjamin is a counselor in Blacktown.
He doesn't.
Susan Benjamin is
Check
a
one
counselor
cheap.
in Blacktown. He runs the
One
center at Blacktown,
cheap.
in Tugabi. In the church, you go to the Tugabi Road, one church there, on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, the legal center open, you can go and see them. He's not there, but he's got other lawyers who look for him. They'll help you out anywhere you can. From will to the resident, everything can be done.
And we can invite him, we know him very well, he's very supportive. In one of the meetings,
He was here.
we can invite him.
Susan Benjamin is a counselor in Tugabi. The place is in Tugabi Church, in the hall on Saturday afternoon from 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Let's give a big clap to.
All right.
Very quickly.
So thank you very much to Praveen and all. And if you can't listen to what Praveen said, if you are not going to listen, I'll give my bank account, please transfer the money. Finish. All right, so we are going to talk about, we were talking about trust, and we are going to talk about somebody who we trust. Celebrating Valentine's last week, and we are now celebrating immediately who we trust. That is your Valentine. All right, while having
I'd like to pay homage to one of our very member,